One moment I could definitely backtrack and think about is when I drew my niece. I drew my niece, and when I showed my family that, they were really taken away, like, whoa, like you could really, like you're really doing this, like, you know? And I guess from that is when I got some confidence to really continue and want to do it. But yeah, man, like I'm gonna continuously say it, like it's just something I've always loved doing. Whether I've been sketching for long periods of time, that's what I've been doing for the majority of the time, but I would say just through school and just taking art class, that's when like paints, I was introduced to paints and things like that. But
well, that actually brings me to my next question. Because obviously you played sports at university. So while you're at university, it sounds like you're taking art courses, or no? So all of this is self-taught, the books?
So when I went to university, and I wanted to take art history. But I was hoping that there would be some hands-on, like with the actual art, but that wasn't it. And
so
I was just
art history and everything's in the book. You didn't.
Everything's in the book, but then it just, because it's not something I was taught. When I had to learn the history aspect of it, it kind of turned me off from it, because I was like, I don't know, this is just a different take from the way I approached it naturally, and I more so wanted to just continue to build the physical skill, and just because I wasn't taught it, right? So I did, to go and study the history behind it now, and it's not even necessarily. The history was more so like the Renaissance art and things of those, and that wasn't nothing close to what I was doing naturally for myself. I was more so just taken to like drawing family members, drawing nature. I love drawing birds, things like that. So when I took it in university, I would say it pushed me away from it.
Yeah, funny you should say that, especially when it comes to black artists, and with the learning the history of art, because many times we won't see ourselves in that history. Not to say that there's anything wrong, but
it does something.
So
it does something.
Again, it's how do I might lose interest. Like I love how Rembrandt did this. But let me know what was going on in. I just watched another documentary about. I forget what culture was doing the brass head skull, brass head bust. I'm gonna have to find it and insert it in the video. And it's like, well, that's part of history too, and it's in your museums.
But we're not exposed to it.
We're not exposed to it.
You know?
So it's interesting. I don't want to discredit any of that stuff. But now you have students like yourself who are coming to these schools with the thirst, wanting to know, and having a few days out of the curriculum to talk about those artists, the Renaissance life, is great. But there's so much more. And even in the more recent history with some of the black artists. I'm going to be honest, this is all new to me, so I don't know a lot of the Canadian pioneers, but there are many American pioneers that they can start to introduce in the curriculum, even in Canada, because the Renaissance didn't happen in Canada.
And that's the thing, I'm not knocking art history, because that's a broad scale, but it's just, I would say the art history that I was exposed to at the time, and what I would say I was thriving for, they didn't match. So that's why I kind of neglected that and said, you know what, I'll just stick to the football thing for now, and do my art on my own. So then I just completely switched what I was studying. I switched it. I said, no,
that's a huge impact. So,
to answer your question earlier, like what influences my art, I would say, is just everyday life. Everyday life, my authentic experiences, because my experiences could be completely different from someone else's, right? And I just embrace it wholeheartedly, and I just try to depict it. When I create something, obviously there's different perspectives at times, but usually when I create something, it's to just kind of activate your mind. Obviously I want to sell art, that's a bonus, and it feels good when you sell art and you can have someone relate to the pieces you're making. But for me, what really brings me joy is that I'm able to create something, and even if I have you here looking at it for like a minute, 30 seconds, the fact that you're admiring it, you're acknowledging it, you're looking at it, you're trying to see different things, you're connecting to it in a different way. It could be negative, it could be positive, but I'm activating your mind. And just that alone does something for me, because I've activated something. I've allowed you to see something through my perspective. Or it doesn't even have to be my perspective, but it's just you connect to this in some sort of way, and that alone does something for me. And just that little feeling makes me want to continue to do it, because it could be something, it could be a piece that I put my heart into and it means everything to me. But you could look at it and be like, oh, that don't mean nothing to me. And it could be a piece that I don't feel too confident about, and that's what everybody is driven to, gravitates towards. So that's the interesting part about that I like, because you never know what people are going to gravitate to, but that's what it is. It's different. Everyone has their own experiences that makes them gravitate towards a specific thing, right? So that's why I love doing it. It's just every day I'm learning something. Every day is a school day. So it's just like, every day is a school day. So it's just like continuously learning and continuously creating.